I know there's a lot of you out there that are pretty upset with the Democratic Party, and for good reason. They have really been caught flat-footed in this moment, and they need to build some sort of resistance that's going to push back against this administration. But while that is true, I think it's also important that we acknowledge when people are trying new things or trying different ways to push back. And I think we got a little bit something different when Cory Booker went out and demolished the Senate floor speech record by delivering a marathon protest against the Trump administration. Now, I'm sure many of you will try to say that this isn't going to move the needle. He wasn't actually doing anything. But I think there's a good argument to be made that he drew some attention to this Trump administration, and actually we now have an opportunity to join together and push back, and I'm going to talk about that event at the end of this video. So, even though he wasn't necessarily filibustering a piece of legislation, he wasn't trying to push any legislation forward, I think the eyeballs that he garnered is a good thing. And he spent 25 plus hours just railing on about the Trump administration and all of the unpopular things that they're currently doing. So I wanted to take a look at a few clips from this speech. And then, like I said, I want to talk about an event coming up this weekend where we can all get involved and push back against the authoritarian regime. Let's go ahead and start off with this clip with Cory Booker here. He's talking about the ideas of our country are currently being tested. I really like this framing, and if you guys do appreciate my work, please do remember to subscribe.
This is when the most precious ideas of our country are being tested, where the Constitution, and the question is being called, where does the Constitution live? On paper or in our hearts? This is the moment. Generations get them. We're on a crossroads here, folks. Healthcare is on the balance. Veterans are on the balance. Priorities are on the balance. Where's our priorities, America? More tax cuts disproportionately going to the wealthy? Greater budget deficits in the trillions and trillions of dollars? Or are we going to do something different like John Lewis would call us to do? He would call us to get into good trouble, necessary trouble, save the soul of America.
Now, look, guys, we have an authoritarian regime currently sitting in the White House. It's a full-out assault on our federal government. We've got Elon Musk running around. He's shutting down agencies that he doesn't like. He's shutting off funding he doesn't like. We've got Donald Trump going after the press. We've got Donald Trump going after particular law firms. They're coming for the Medicaid, $880 billion. They're going to try to cut from that, in maybe a week or two. I mean, it is a full-out, full body contact sport out there right now when it comes to the values of America. We have a hostile administration that is trying to tear down everything that could be good in this country. So I really like the framing that Cory Booker is talking about here. There are so many values that so many Americans agree with that are just under assault right now because Donald Trump is a wannabe authoritarian who wants to point at something and make it happen. It is an absolute assault. And so I really think we all need to come together. Like they say, nobody's going to come to save us, so it's going to be we the people who stand up and push back against this fascist takeover. And here is Cory Booker pleading to Americans to resist in this moment.
But we the people are powerful. We are strong. God bless America. We need you now. God bless America. If you love her, if you love your neighbor, if you love this country, show your love. Stop them from doing what they're trying to do for almost 20 hours. We have laid out what they're trying to do, 20 hours. I want to stand more, and I will, but I'm begging people, don't let this be another normal day in America. Please, God, don't let them take Medicaid away from 10, 20, 30, or 40 million Americans who desperately need it. Don't let them do it.
So this is our call to action, guys. We need to rise up as we the people and start pushing back against this administration. This is something that we talk about a lot on the channel. And we've got people showing up all over the country. They're showing up to their town halls. They're writing or calling their Congress people. They're showing up to protests all around the country. And people are just waking up. They're looking around and saying, hey, I don't like what this administration is doing. It is completely contrary to the values America was actually founded on. Donald Trump is trying to turn us into some sort of autocracy, and the American people are not down with that. And we have to come together and build a big movement that is going to provide the sufficient pushback against this authoritarian takeover. So this is the call to action, and this is probably one of the reasons why Cory Booker stood on the Senate floor for more than 25 hours to deliver this speech. Not only were his constituents screaming at him to do something, but he also wants to spark or inspire others to get out there and do something as well. So this is the call to action. I want to show you when he broke the record. Chuck Schumer announces it to him.
Would the senator yield for a question?
Chuck Schumer, it's the only time in my life I can tell you no.
I just want to tell you a question. Do you know you have just broken the record? Do you know how proud this caucus is of you? Do you know how proud America is of you?
So this might seem performative, and to some degree it absolutely is, but it's very cool to have Cory Booker out on the Senate floor breaking the record, the record was once held by Strom Thurmond. And for those of you that don't know, he was a segregationist, and he set the record by rallying against the civil rights movement. So to have somebody like Cory Booker come up there and just smash through that record, I think is a pretty cool thing. And I think he should be celebrated for this. This is something that maybe we wouldn't expect from Cory Booker. But I think, he's putting in the work. He's trying something different. He's laying out this laundry list of things that the Trump administration is doing that we need to stand up against. And it might or might not move the needle, but I do think it will inspire people to get off the couch and start to engage in these protest movements that we are going to see all around the country this weekend. And then I want to show you when he actually broke the record and he ended his speech here.
Many declarations of interdependence. When our founders said we must mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. We need that now from all Americans. This is a moral moment. It's not left or right, it's right or wrong. Let's get in good trouble. My friend, Madam President, I yield the floor.
Very, very cool. He said there, we need to go and get in good trouble. And I think he's quoting John Lewis. And that's just talking about getting involved, joining these protest movements, engaging in civil disobedience, doing whatever you can to push back against this authoritarian regime. We all are going to have to do our part. And if we come together, the bigger the movement, the better it will be. The more pushback we can engage in. And obviously, there's going to be more strength in numbers. So I really hope that people are inspired by what Cory Booker did here. I hope they take a little bit of motivation from his speech. And there's a lot that he spoke about that he was just right on about. I would suggest that you go look at some sort of compilation or mashup of different parts of his speech. But it was a moving speech. He was breaking the record from a segregationist. So I think that was an absolutely cool thing to do. And like I said, I hope that it motivates people to get out there and engage in these protests that we're about to talk about. And I want you to listen to Cory Booker here in his own words as to what he is hoping people will actually go out there and do now.
Well, I hope that we're all served to be ignition points for each other. My constituents, the letters, the calls, the demands were definitely an ignition point for me, but we've got to continue to ignite this movement. The only thing that stopped Donald Trump from tearing away the Affordable Care Act was the engagement of tens of thousands of Americans who didn't think they would become little lobbyists or activists or come down to the Capitol or protest in their communities.
So he wants us to be an ignition point for each other, I think is kind of how he put it. And what that means is just, gathering inspiration, gathering motivation, and working together and building some sort of coalition that's going to push back against the authoritarian takeover that is currently underway in our country. And he talked a lot about the values of America, and I truly believe that even though there is so much polarization in the country right now, I still think there are a base set of values that most Americans still believe in. And even though Donald Trump got voted in for a second time, I think there is a larger majority of the American people that is unhappy, that is pissed off, that is not willing to just roll over and be victim to an authoritarian regime. I truly believe that, but we have to all come together, and again, we got to push back in any way that we can to let this administration know that we're not just going to sit down and take it. I mean, that's exactly what they want us to do. They want us to grow despondent. They want us to think that we don't have any power. But if we all come together as a huge movement, we will show them that it is actually the people that has the power. And we've seen this in protests all across the world. And it appears that it's our turn here in America. The authoritarianism is knocking at the door, and the American people need to rise to the occasion and push back against that. And there is, like I said, there's an event this week called the Hands Off Movement. It is a national day of action. It's going to be on Saturday, April 5th, and people are going to be coming together in cities all over the country to register their discontent with this administration. But I wanted to show you this map here, because check out all of the different locations that have signed up to be part of this hands-off movement. Whether Medicaid is your biggest issue, whether Social Security is your biggest issue, whether the authoritarian impulses of the Trump administration is your biggest issue, this is our time to come together and join into a movement to do what we can to push back against the Trump administration. But look at all the red dots here. We are going to see, this is an opportunity to see a mass movement in different cities all across the country. And I am urging every single person to find an event near you. As you can see, there are just hundreds of them all over the country. Find an event near you, grab some poster board, write down some creative signs to push back against this administration. Bring water, bring food, bring a barbecue, whatever the occasion calls for. Just get involved. Get involved with your local community, make new friends, do some networking, get involved with local mutual aid groups, local democracy groups, get involved with community services in your area. I mean, this is going to give everybody an opportunity, or a lot of people the opportunity, to participate in a coalition or a movement that is just not happy with what is currently going on with this administration. So this is the Hands Off Movement. The National Day of Action is on Saturday, April 5th. And like I said, I encourage everybody to get out there, register your discontent with this administration, make some new friends, build some community, because like I said, it's going to be we the people who's going to rise up and overcome this authoritarian takeover. So, go listen to that Cory Booker speech, find a compilation of it, get some motivation, and just do the best you can to serve your community, to take part in a pro-democracy movement. And it does not matter if you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you're an independent, everybody is going to be welcome here. Everybody is going to be pro-democracy here. This country was built on democracy, and now Donald Trump is trying to turn it into some sort of autocracy. And like I said, I think the majority of Americans are just not down with that. So get involved, be engaged, push back against this fascistic takeover. So I will leave it there for now, guys. If you guys got anything out of this video, please do remember to smash that like button and subscribe. Maybe share it with a friend or two. I'd very much appreciate that. We've got to build something here on the left that adequately pushes back against this right-wing media ecosystem that just ferments all of this MAGA brain rot that is currently plaguing our society. So if you do like what I do here, please do remember to smash that subscribe button. And one of my biggest issues is the unlawful detention and deportations of people who are in this country legally. So if you want to see how the Trump administration is rounding up innocent people, stripping their due process rights away, and then shipping them off to a torturous prison, please do watch and share that video on the screen now. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next one.